Good morning, guys. How y'all doing this morning? Hope y'all doing all right. It's probably 6:50, almost 7 o'clock. The sun is out. Looks like it's going to be a pretty bluebird day. Looks like the bad weather is finally moving out. That's what it's looking like to me. So hopefully we can maybe get some things done today. Wanted to come on for a minute and discuss a little bit about the Jack and Lilly Sullivan. You know, the ones that were alleged to have got out of the sliding door on their own, closed it behind them, which stepdad said they never did, and walked off into the woods to never be seen or heard from again so far. Well, 11 days and counting. And then all the speculation is running like the rapids in the river during snow melt, right? It's bad. But the one thing I can say is about when it comes to the Facebook, I know that y'all done found that mother's Facebook, right? It's out there. But she said, like I said, there's a lot of people saying her story don't add up. There's a lot of people saying the same thing about him, but now, like I explained in the beginning, seems to be that people are kind of coming on his side because he's the only one out there looking, not giving up. But like we should always do, listen to law enforcement, right? That's what we have to do. If we go by their press conference, right, which is heartbreaking as you know what, he clearly said if they felt that these children were alive, they would still be out there searching. Okay? So these 4 areas that they've been targeting, which they're not telling anyone where they are, except for the search crews, and it's all being kept under very tight wraps, which is good. I figured today's going to be the day, but I don't know. I'm still waiting. It's still early, right? We might not know till later in the evening. I think by maybe 3 p.m. we might have a little more information. Not for certain yet, but I'm praying, right? And clearly, this is a very, very, very sad story. And the mother, of course, she's single and ready to mingle again on Facebook after a little bit of 8 or 9 days shutdown of her social media. She now has, 95, 97 followers, something like that. But they're not... They're not necessarily followers that are following her because they want to be a friend. Following her because they want to ask her questions. And it seems that she's not really answering anything. But everybody realizes that her speech looks scripted, right? I'm not going to lie, it did. But then again, we don't know how we would feel if we lived in a rural area like that and we got cameras shoved in our face, right? But it would have been a lot more tears, right? Wouldn't have just been this little story that left us like our eyebrows raised and our ears open, right? I mean, clearly it's I know I haven't played that clip because it's heartbreaking. Y'all have already heard it 100 times, and I just don't understand what was all going on in this household, right? We know these kids. I know I'm not going to get into the zip tie thing and all that, but it might be possible. We saw it in Caleb Collins' case. I pray to God that's not the case, that these children weren't kept basically in lockdown pretty much. The autism thing I knew was going to get bigger. And like I said, and I think the third video, right? It's the autism was a lot more than what she made it out. But I think she didn't want to have that be something that jumped speculation right away, like you couldn't handle the kids. 2 with autism. Golly, man, think about it. Two with autism, possibly maybe 20% verbal, 80% nonverbal, right? I don't know if that's an accurate number. I know that they were able to communicate, but as she told us, they couldn't keep up in school, right? Their problems were in school. I think their problems were in school because evidently they didn't go to school that much. And that's not the children's fault. They cannot get themselves to school. They have to have a parent that's responsible to get them to school, not that wants to sleep all day. Go back to their history. 9 times out of 10, their social media their social media activity is nights and early mornings. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, then it shuts off till noon or lunch or 1 in the afternoon. So they're telling me they're sleeping the majority of the daylight hours. That's not good when you have kids in school, especially not 2 children with autism that need extra attention and extra care and a lot of extra love and a way buttload of patience to make their life even comfortable. And these children were not getting that. From what I'm learning, they were not getting that. I'm glad that a lot of it's coming out now, right? I hate to always be the one to put I'm not one to jump and put something out first. I don't like doing that. Y'all know that. I mean, I don't want to be the one to bear bad news. I don't like doing that. Although I know we have to. It's sometimes it's tough. I would rather be the 4th or 5th man telling the story, right? That are telling some new information. And I'm always trying to be very careful about what I say and when I say it. Like I said, the CPS, these things I knew day 2 that it was involved. And because a lot of times, if you can get information in the first 72 hours, that's usually going to be, in a missing case that's suspicious, after 72 hours, nobody's talking anymore, especially law enforcement, search and rescue, because they've all had meetings. They all know now not to share anything. At first, they don't say that because they want to get the word out and they want to get the searching started. So they allow kind of free reins. And then after like the 3rd day, that's when this case shifted and became quiet, tight-lipped, right? Didn't want to say much. The detectives won't say much, but yet it's what they don't say that points us in the direction. When asked certain questions, right? The main one being, the main thing in all of this, the main one thing that I think law enforcement told us in this case early at that press conference, when they decided to scale back and this, that, and the other, that if they felt that the children were alive, they would be out there searching. Come on, Ruth. No, come on, let's go. So that to me tells me they know way more. And I understand it's hard. It's hard enough when you have 1 missing child that's suspicious, let alone 2 that's suspicious. Because you may have figured out one of them, but when it comes to a case that you're going to have to try someone or some people, or more than one person, put it that way, you have to figure out both fully before, you don't want to bring something on. You don't want to come after them and charge them for neglect, right? And then that later on it turned into something way more, or you learn something way new. Come on. And so, with that being said, and hey, by the way, guys, I don't know if y'all, I haven't been showing Ruby running a lot right now because she's running with the puppy. And I'm not ready to put her on camera till I got her ready to go. So right now what I do is I take one leash, I got Ruby on one leash, and then I got the puppy like tied to her leash, right? Like connected to her, where she kind of follows Ruby around. So I've been doing that. I got to do that for 2 weeks right now. And then once I get that out of the way, then of course we'll be ready to go, and I think it'll be really, really good. I got something planned for that day. So, but in this case, of course, trigger warnings times 100 million. You know, these are just my thoughts. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And I'm entitled to my free speech. I'm going to use it. And of course, you know, like I said, y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to affect the channel. We do our research together because we are a big-hearted little family. I hate to interrupt in the middle of this thing, but, you know, the thing is, to me, is that when law enforcement has to look at two, okay, now, think about this. 2 kids that go missing, supposedly they wander off in the woods, right? The first thing you're thinking is find the kids. So that's the main focus in the first, 72 hours, is the focus is to locate the children, right? You want them found day one. And I think as the searches progressed, the first couple of days, I think the red flags started really flying, because I'm sure law enforcement didn't really hear what they were saying right at first, or saying to the media. They had to wait, and then when it gets put out there, then they kind of have someone looking at that, breaking it down, usually a detective, or go and watch their videos. Well, if we notice that, being so rural out there, it probably took a little bit of time, but by the 3rd day, I'm sure law enforcement was like red flags everywhere, and that seems to be the day that they targeted an area that was like 20 plus miles from there. So that's telling me that they were they were looking already in a different direction in this case. As sad as it is, and as heartbreaking as it is, the main focus here is to find Lilly and Jack and bring them home no matter what, right? Whether it be to prepare them for a funeral, which nobody wants. I pray to God that's not the case, but it's looking that way. According to law enforcement, it's looking that way. That's the only source that's really told us anything. The stepfather has been trying so hard to get himself cleared in this, right? Which reminds me of Chris Profit and Katie Profit. He's pushing so hard, and maybe he is innocent. Maybe he wasn't there. I don't know. Some people are saying now that he was not home on Thursday. Well, I don't know that to be true or not true. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you, because, you know what I mean? I'm sure law enforcement knows by their cell phone activity and their vehicle movement, but, there's a lot of cameras and a lot of ring cameras that point at that road, down that road, and so I know they've got all those footages, and they're looking to see, I guess, when their vehicles came and left, and see if it's a consistent pattern or if there was something out of the ordinary, right? And then the fire that we talked about a couple of days ago that I was still kind of hesitant to talk about. There's just so many things that don't add up. But the main thing is you have one that's not giving up, that's pushing on, right? That's begging for help. I know his stories don't sound too good the way he tells them, but he's the only one fighting for the kids, right? And he's not even allowed to see his own child, the baby, right? He's not even allowed to see the baby. So that's telling me CPS has done taking control of this case and that baby, pretty much. I think the mom must have said something to CPS about Daniel, right? That's what I think. I think that a lot of people are going to be right in this, as far as the mother is probably the guilty one. And of course he's going to have helped her, right? She's going to probably have been part of the cover-up plan, because his story's kind of aligned with her stories about what happened, but not overall, because he says that he saw her that morning. She's saying all day she only heard them. Now they're saying last time the children were seen was Thursday night. So now it's really starting to get a little, because Daniel's clearly told us that he saw her that morning, 10 o'clock. whatever it was, right? 10 o'clock, I think. Something like that. 8:30 or something, which they weren't going to school, which that bothers me. If she's well enough to play outside, why wasn't she in school? And for one, you don't keep your child out of school for a cough, unless it's a really bad cough. And if it's that bad a cough, they go to the doctor. Where's the doctor's note, right? Where's the medicine for this child that was so sick that she had to go home from school or stay home from school, right? And why was Jack home from school? The bus comes anyway. I mean, there's just so many things that don't add up. And now this mother trying to be, I mean, she hadn't even been gone from that home but for like 9 days, and she's already singling and looking for love. And I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's like this case is different because it's like the mother is now all of a sudden free. The way she's acting on social media is making me wonder if I'm correct and that baby is with CPS, or that baby has actually been signed to the custody of grandma or a different family member that she's staying with right now. Because supposedly she was ordered, she had two choices, and I'm waiting for it to come out, but she had two choices: either stay there in that home and they take the baby, or take the baby and get out of that property because something's not right in that home and what they found in that home, right? I know a lot of people saying there's no proof of that yet, but law enforcement's not telling much. And I've seen the messages. I've seen a group message of some of these people that were helping search on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and how they were communicating amongst each other. They did such a good thing as far as they use the ribbons in the trees like we do. We use the orange ribbons and areas that we search, and they did this. They tied and they wrote, they marked every spot they searched and how heavily searched it was, and they did an amazing job searching, but found nothing. No footprint, no scent trail, just like Sebastian Rogers, no scent trail of these children. Again, that bothers me because if these kids played outside so much like you said, then why was their scent not out there? And a lot of people are saying, well, the fence, they couldn't get out the fence. Yeah, supposedly there's a little area that goes back towards that little barn in the backyard. There's like a little door on that barn that you can open up, and it brings you out into the little bushes right there to where to the left of it is where the little fort is that they play in. It's got the logs stacked up, kind of like somebody wanted to build a log home, but just kind of threw like 2 rails up or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, the little play area. It's about 20 seconds from the backyard. There is a little thing, a little gated barn, a little gated door thing you can go through, according to the sources I spoke to. There is a way to get out of that backyard, right, for the kids. It's like a little latch on a little wooden thing, and you can just, I guess, pop it up and get out. But the thing that's bothering me about, the grandma and grandpa on Daniel's side or whatever that was living there, in that travel trailer that's covered with the tarp, right? If they were living there, how come they didn't see the children? Or were they there at that particular time? Were they asleep? Most old people rise early, but then again, not all of them. So it is kind of, there's a lot going on in this case, but not a lot of information from law enforcement. But I think law enforcement is getting smarter in these cases, and we're going to see a lot of this everywhere now. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of quietness, a lot of telling the parents to shut up early on. I think that's going to become the new norm. And if it does, it's going to hurt the social media world, like the YouTube world, right? Like people like us, because we're not going to have the information we need to go search or to understand the situation if they completely keep the parents silent, right? And don't let them talk. Usually that's not the case, but it seems in these cases it's getting more and more. And if you notice, it's more and more autism cases. If we go back 15 months, count the autism cases. One in the water, one in the bushes, another one in the water, another one in the river. I can keep going. Probably at least 10 cases. of autism children, either wandering off, falling in a river, falling in the canal in Florida, or just vanishing altogether like Sebastian, Rogers. So, and Lilly and Jack. It's heartbreaking, guys, to think that these poor children are somewhere. They're somewhere. Where? I don't know. Are they alive or are they not? Trigger warning, guys. Times 100 million. I mean, law enforcement's telling us one thing. My gut would be, as a searcher, when I found someone that's been out there actually 13 days before, yes, severely dehydrated, had a fever, had a bad major sore throat, skin and bones, like you lose a lot of weight in 12. You don't realize after 13 days of not eating, right? Drinking rainwater off of leaves. We found someone over on the other side of Antler, Oklahoma one time. After 13 days, this man had wandered off. And they couldn't find him. And evidently his cell phone didn't have service where he was on this little hiking trail. So we went, of course, we found him down there laying under a tree by a little stream. And he didn't even have enough energy to get up. It was at the end, but still 13 days, guys. And this was an older gentleman in his 60s. So these young kids that are full of life could have, at least probably 10 days they could have made it out there. Maybe not a full, well, the weather hasn't been that bad. It's not extremely hot. Yeah, it's kind of cool at night, but I don't know. It's too hard to figure out. I just didn't see them giving up after just a short time like that. But that's why I feel like they got some information. They learned something. They uncovered something. Supposedly they uncovered something in the home. Now, I don't know if that's going to be what comes out today or tomorrow. I don't know that. But supposedly 2 items were found in the home in that search a few days ago, and then they went back that same night and did the house again, which Daniel has opened up the home every time. He's never told them they couldn't come in the house. He's never told them you need a warrant. He hasn't pulled any of the Stephen Darwin stuff, right, like her dad did. He's not doing any of that. They're not doing any of that. I think a lot of people are confused because of how the mother, think about it. This was her home. This is where all her stuff is for the baby, for the kids. She's not just going to pack up and leave when the kids are missing, unless she's kind of ordered to leave. I wouldn't think, right? That's why I think the CPS thing does make sense. CPS being not public records, we're not 100% sure of this, but I have spoken with someone within a close connection to Daniel that has let me know that this is the story. Now, I don't know if this is what Daniel's telling him, but I know that he's, of course, trying to defend Daniel, but he also said, I don't know at this point what to believe. So that it's kind of like the neighbor. The neighbor, of course, points a finger at them right away. And the party house, he's provided a bunch of his Ring camera footage to law enforcement to let them know what was going on and how there was cars completely full to the driveway and then out in the road and this, that, and the other for the Cinco de Mayo holiday week or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, guys, what's going to come. I just know that these little angels need to be found no matter what. And justice, if justice needs to be, it will be. I know there's still a 5% chance that they did wander off, and then for some reason the rain kept their scent from being dispersed, which I would think with a diaper on and the rain and the water pouring down, it's going to make that diaper run fluid out onto the ground, which would have made it a lot easier for the dogs. That's why I feel that the dogs would have found them. It's kind of odd that they waited till the weather, especially since these kids hadn't been in school the majority of the week, or the whole week, actually. I'm still kind of up in the air on that. I know it was at least 3 days, possibly the whole week. Because remember, Monday was that holiday. So I don't know if it's a holiday there and schools were closed. But the thing is, is trying to figure out when they were last seen, right? There's been a few people on Facebook that have actually kind of showed some receipts to say that these children last known sightings, besides the parents, right? Besides stepdad and mom, was Wednesday. Supposedly Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday, she couldn't exactly remember, but it's either Tuesday or Wednesday was the last sighting that someone besides Daniel and the mom had seen these children. So that is scary, because if that's the case, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday. That's a lot of time to hide, right? That's a lot of time to cover up, to clean up, but you know, that's what I'm thinking is, if they were going to clean up, why didn't they get rid of the stuff that was in the home that was found, like the substance and stuff and all that? Why did they not get rid of that? That's the only thing throwing me off on, did something happen there at that home or somewhere else? Right? There's a little thing going around about someone that evidently was at this party that said that, and this is just someone talking, and I know a lot of people throw a lot of stuff out there. A lot of times it's not true. That's why we have to be very careful. But supposedly, from what one person was saying, was that there was actually someone, they were playing on the little gravel road right there during that party thing or whatever, and that somebody didn't see them sitting down playing and backed over them. Now, I don't know if it has any relevance or any truth at all, guys. And then since all the substances were involved, they covered it up. Someone's saying that it was at least 6 people. Now, I don't know this. I just know there's a lot of people talking, and it's just so hard because we don't know. We don't know. We just don't know. And I've been pricing plane tickets and all that stuff right now. I'm trying to figure out the exact square. I'm trying to get a search map, right? A map. I'm waiting for the email to come in for the map itself of what all was searched, right? If you go back and watch some of the helicopter footage, I don't know if a lot of y'all have found that under aviation, but there's a lot of there's a little bit of the helicopter footage, and you can see the ribbons, the markings tied to the trees and things of this nature. You can see the vast area they covered. Now, it is thick and it is rural, but they still did an excellent job of searching it. And although in some areas it makes it almost impossible for drones, other areas the drones were fabulous. I did get to see a little bit of drone footage. I think it was 6 minutes that was emailed to me by one of the searchers, and it's a pretty thick area, guys. But the thing is if you really look at the area, once you get past that little fort that they played in, there's a reason that fort was right there on that line like that, right there outside that backyard, is because after that it gets so thick that I don't even think the kids could have made it back through there, especially not rubber boots on. I just don't see it with all the vine stuff and all that. Oh, you got a sticker? Oh no, you're fine. Okay. You know, it's just, I don't know, guys. I'm lost here. I'm trying to figure out what in God's name could have possibly happened to these children. We know that it's not looking good at this time. We know that. After this many days. But what's going to happen, right? Do they have enough? And in this instance, we only have what little bit law enforcement has told us. And they haven't really pointed a finger either way. A little bit, but not big time. Now, what they're thinking, I'm sure, or what they know is way different than what we know, I'm assuming, because they're the ones that called off the search due to not thinking they're alive anymore, heartbreaking as that is to say. We need to find like solid facts, and the way they investigate there, suspicious, and that's why we're not hearing anything. If this was clearly a missing, two children wandering off, there'd be a lot more out there. Law enforcement would be talking a lot more. They'd be coming out every day for the first 5 or 6 days giving press conferences of how much ground they covered that day. The areas they searched that day. Hey, people, can you please check your backyards? Can you please check your property, see if you find these kids? An Amber Alert that the mother tried to push out. All these things. Like nothing. And the mom, sending that message out, on Facebook or whatever to try to get an Amber Alert called in. She was trying to take the heat off of them is what it was. Because she felt that if they could get the Amber Alert to get out, that would give them maybe a little hope that they wouldn't be looked at. Because if you notice what they've done and said, pointed the fingers directly at them. I mean, how do you tell us that the children, they're good children, but something about they don't listen all the time or something, and that they evidently slipped out this back door? You made it sound like they snuck out of the home. Like, if they've never done it before, why would they do it now? Especially if Lily's sick. Why would she be wanting to go outside if she's sick? I don't know. There's so much going on out there. So many things being said, not knowing what to believe. The only thing about having connections around the world is sometimes you have to really look at them and be, okay, is this probable or not, right? And so many things, kind of like them saying that somebody backed over these children on that driveway. That would be heartbreaking. But that would mean way more people were involved. But that tells me one thing. The dogs would have picked up that area, I would think. Especially if DNA was on the gravel or something like that. I know it was raining, so a lot of it would have been washed away, but still, the dogs would have picked that up. And now knowing that they're bringing in the cadaver dogs, that's scary. That's saying they're looking for shallow graves to me. But are they really dumb enough to put them right there, right? You got to remember, this guy, they've been there, 2 years? He knows those woods, I'm sure, really good. Come on, he knows those woods, I'm sure, really, really, really good. And so, I don't think that he would put them there. I think he might have thrown a few things out there in the woods, like a diaper and maybe a backpack, to get it found, to try to say, see, look, they made it this far, right? I don't know. I don't know, but it's kind of weird how he tells us about this, but yet they didn't see him since Thursday, but then, now they saw him that morning, and he saw her stick her head in the room. She had on a pink shirt. He knew exactly what they were wearing. The mom, on the other hand, basically saying she never saw him that morning. He's saying they did. Because, why do two people have to feed a baby? That don't make no sense. Like, none of their story makes sense. And these two children with autism have vanished in thin air. And you wander out there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you couldn't have got 50 feet in that thick brush in 10 minutes and back. No way. I mean, look how long it took searchers just to get a mile. Like 4 hours, guys. That's some thick brush. I mean, these kids, I mean, I just don't see them doing this. I just don't think I don't think their little bodies could have done that and went through that stuff and got back in there that far. I mean, yeah, I know kids can do a lot of things, but I mean, how far would they have actually made it if you ran outside as soon as it went silent, right? So you're telling me as soon as it went silent, right, that you ran outside and started screaming their name, and everywhere you were looking, and screaming and hollering their name. Okay, they wouldn't have been that far that quickly, so they would have heard you. Now, someone saying the kids finally escaped because they've been zip tied and locked down in that home, made to sleep until the parents get up, and that they figured out a way to get out and get away, right? Well, there would have been a trail of them. I mean, the dogs would have picked up a scent. They would have found footprints. It's raining. There would have been lots of little boot prints everywhere. Lots. According to Daniel, there'd be a wet diaper laying there. There'd be a backpack laying there because he said they're not going to keep it on that long. Well, how do you know that? But the biggest question of all is, how do you know they went out the sliding door? How do you know this? You were sleeping. How do you know they chose the sliding door? You're sleeping. How do you know, Mommy, that they were outside but weren't supposed to be? And to make it another question is, why were they not supposed to be able to go outside? Why couldn't they go out in their own backyard and play? I mean, your backyard's fenced in, right? So, I mean, you shouldn't be worried about it, right? I mean, I know they say there's a little gate thing over by that barn or whatever, that's in the backyard, that little old building that's fallen down, that there's a little wooden gate there that they can get into the bushes there, but put a chain on it. I mean, it's just not making sense. That's why I think something bad happened. They were all on something and high out of their damn mind, like the clouds, and they woke up and realized what had happened and were like, oh my God, right? We did that, and then didn't have enough time to really plan their speeches together because they neither one said anything that matched. I mean, they both gave two totally different explanations. No, this way. Two totally different explanations of what happened. And neither one of them made any damn sense. I mean, I would like to know, I think I would like to know what they said separately in interviews to the police. That's what I would like to know. And I know that law enforcement is going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they're going to say, well, you were traumatized, you were this, you were that, so maybe you didn't really remember. Or maybe you were in shock, or, and I know they give them a little credit for that. But to come on a press conference and say, you're basically giving up on searching for these kids in the woods because you feel that they're not alive anymore, that breaks your heart right there. Because that's telling us that they know more. Way more. And they just have to make sure they get it right. Because they don't have a good track record for locking people up over there. I hate to say that. But their track record and their justice system is not the greatest in the world. They may do good investigation work. And they may be looking at all angles from the start, which is good. But their system doesn't work too well as far as charging people. So, for one, they need the bodies. They need a digital footprint. They need some kind of photos. They need some kind of information from the vehicles, OnStars or whatever, if they have that. Or the apps on their phone or something. Right? We know now they can do so much more. So, I'm sure they're working, but it does take, sometimes it takes, a good 6 to 8, 10 days to get some of this data back. So, I mean, being at day 11, they might not have all the information yet, because I'm sure they didn't start filing warrants probably till day 3. Because I think that's the day that the suspicion rose within the law enforcement. I think was day 3 is when they kind of switched, from what I'm being told. So if that's the case, day 3, then you file for warrants. You got the weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, they're not going to necessarily have all the information back just yet. But once the main, like, tracking data on their phones comes, you know, like the dump and the pings and all that, right? Because I heard they did 2 dumps. I think they did a dump for Wednesday, a dump for Thursday, and we know they did a dump for Friday. So I'm sure it's 3 different dumps, trying to see, I guess, if that party was that day. Because you got to realize, when they do a dump, anybody that was at that party that has a cell phone, or that has like Bluetooth in their cars or anything, or Wi-Fi in their cars or vehicles, all those numbers showed up. So they know who was at that home that had a phone. And if they did go back as far as Monday, or the Sunday before, right? I mean, this all happened right before Mother's Day. And that's truly scary. But I hope CPS has done the right thing. I really hope that they're protecting this baby, the one child that's left. I hope they're really protecting this baby. I've heard that they are. I've heard that actually the baby's in their custody. I don't know if that's true yet. I'm waiting for a photo. You know me, I like to see receipts, like proof, before I talk about it. Now I know the source, and they've given me a lot of information in the past, so I know that it's someone that's not going to just shoot the BS at me, right? So if that's the case, then at least that child is safe. Now, I don't know if they have taken the care away from her and Daniel and put the care in Grandma, and that's why Daniel's getting turned down, because Grandma don't want him to see the baby right now. I don't know. We know that her family is pushing it on him. His family is pushing it on her, which I told y'all in the first video I did that this is what was going to happen. I do my research, guys, and the finger pointing I knew was going to start before that mother even packed up and left. And of course, common sense tells you, why is the mother going to leave? Well, there has to be a really good reason, like CPS, like, I'm going to take your child, like, if you don't get out this home full of paraphernalia and all this other stuff, trigger warning, right? You got to get this baby away from this, right? I mean, I've heard a lot of the rumors. Oh, they were feeding the babies like substances. I'm not gonna say that. I mean, you know, they can do testing on the baby and see if the blood, you know. I mean, I think they would have caught that at birth or something, maybe. But then again, maybe not, right? These parents have learned how to hide it. Like Emma Bum, right? A lot of people think Emma Bum, the reason that happened to Emma Bum was total accident, that she was scared to go to the hospital to have this child, thinking they were going to take her baby because of the substance she was using. So she tried to have it at home, and it didn't work. That's what a lot of people think in the Emma Bum case. And I think that is a big possibility, guys. I mean, it's still heartbreaking. And you know, that's the only difference in this case and Sebastian's case, is that as far as we know, Katie and Chris do not use substances, all that stuff, right? They live in a way different area. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but it doesn't look to be that that's their lifestyle, right? I don't think that would be the case, but it is possible. Not gonna say it's not, because it is. But I mean, and it's nothing new to think about. I keep going back to the backpack, because something is bugging me about that. Because he's saying that he saw her stick her head in, right, that morning. Into the door, to their room or whatever. So, if that's truly, to be honest, then that means that their children were last seen on Friday, not Thursday. Like her mother is saying. You know, Grandma is saying. I got her text messages on that other phone. I don't think I have it with me. I don't think. No, I don't have the other phone with me. Sorry, I wasn't planning on even going to do this video. But I got all this. I took all the screenshots off Facebook, social media platforms for Grandma and the mom. I have all that for you. I'll share with y'all later today. Her story saying that they haven't been seen since Thursday when they went to bed. That's not making sense. That's not adding up to what they said. Because she's clearly saying she heard them that morning. He's saying he saw them that morning. She's saying they went out the sliding door to play. And she later learned that. How did you later learn that? If the door was shut, how did you later learn that they went out the slide? How do you know they didn't go out the other door, the front door? I don't know what it is with doors in these cases lately. Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, now Jack and Lilly. It's all about the doors. They're blaming the doors for everything. That's what I don't get. How? Why? Why do they tell us? Why did she say it this way? Was she just really completely nervous and could not speak in front of the camera? I don't think so, because she talked slowly. She talked calmly. You could tell she was kind of thinking about what to say next, because she did stop herself a few times, and one of those times really scared me. Because when she was talking about how she didn't want to go another night without her babies, like, home or whatever, because she stopped herself in what she was saying, kind of like Katie did. She caught herself a little sooner than Katie did, right? Because Katie told us, well, it was already too late, is what she told us. But this mom didn't say that, but she was going to tell us something besides she didn't want to go another night without them. There was something. She said she was going to say, I don't want to go through this again. Like, I can't go through this again, another night, right? So if that's to be true, and you've been going through this horrible experience for the last 2 or 3 nights like you made it out to be, what it seemed like to me, it wasn't one night, it was more than one night the way you were saying it. So you just, and then you just up and leave. And everybody's freaking out. The mom ghosted. No, from what I understand, she didn't ghost them. She was ordered to leave. Well, she was given a choice. Either leave with the baby or we take the baby. Right? Now I hope that is a fact. I mean, we know now there's a little bit more has come out, because the Daniel stepped up and was like, hey, CPS wouldn't let me see my daughter. Right? So we know that CPS involved. But CPS always gets involved in missing kids cases. Especially when I think the substances and stuff were found in that home in their past history. I think they knew that they had to be there. And that's the thing. There's no getting around that part of it. Because a lot of what we've learned from Daniel. Because the mom has been pretty quiet. Grandma now speaking a little bit, trying to defend her daughter. I don't think it's going to work, but I think she's trying. I just don't get the single part when you're married. You're still married. You haven't filed for divorce yet that we know of, right? I think she might have, but I'm not going to say that yet because I haven't seen the public record of it yet. But I don't know. Supposedly, the rumor now, she filed for divorce the same day she left. Online. I don't know. Now, I don't know if that's going to come out, but she knows she's saying she's single, ready to mingle, right, on her Facebook new account with 97 friends or 98 friends, whatever, or 98 people. Like, she has a group, but the group is dogging her, a lot of them. They don't believe her story, so she'll probably shut this one down and start another one again. But what I don't understand is how come she's not posting flyers and begging and all this and pleading. You think somebody kidnapped your children, woman, so bad that you wanted an Amber Alert. Why are you not begging somebody to let your kids go? Why are you not out here crying, begging? You got social media, you got a phone, film your own damn video and put it out there. Begging for your own kids. I don't know why parents don't do this. Anybody could film a video and put it on their Facebook or anything. Post it, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Make your own video, right? Like Lilly Jack mom. She advertised a bunch. She still does. she does her own social media stuff for her daughter. I don't know. It's just not making sense. And the sad thing is these two young children vanished in thin air. But they didn't vanish on their own, guys. Kids that little don't vanish on their own. And two kids wandering off in those woods, Jack being the youngest, looks to me like Jack would have probably been the one to get tired first and sit down somewhere. And then she might have kept going or might have tried to go back, but they wouldn't have been, I don't think they would have been found by now. And I think law enforcement, after those 3 days of searching the way they did and covered as much ground with helicopters and everything as they did, they realized that those kids weren't in those woods. And instead of just coming out and saying they weren't in the woods, they kind of made it as, hey, we're going to look at the investigation side, right? We got this to look at, that to look at, but we don't think that they're alive anymore out here, so we're not going to search. That gave us the answers. We talked about that a couple of days ago. But when are the arrests coming, right? We always wonder. And maybe there won't. We might not ever see an arrest. This might be another Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells case. It might be 3 strikes and unsolved. This may be the next case for the missing persons in America or whatever. I don't know if they could do it. They couldn't probably post them because they're Canada, but they might could. I don't know. They can do whatever they want. I mean, they just, you know. And a good thing is that this case blew up quickly. But hopefully it'll be solved quickly as much as tension is on it. I'm wondering. I've been told that, you know, something was fixing to come down the chute by today. Hopefully by today, by tomorrow. I think the 14th is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I think I heard something by the 14th. So I don't know if that means that they're waiting on certain things to come back or warrants or whatever. And then, you know, I wondered about trash, that rural area. I'm sure they burn their own trash, right? We know about the fire. We know about CPS stuff. We're learning so much more every day, especially to be so tight-lipped. But it's because all the people in that community realize that something's wrong and something bad happened here. And like I always say, listen to the locals, right? We talk about it all the time, right? Listen to the locals. The locals know. I don't know, but it always works. The locals always know. The locals know what goes on in their community. These teachers, these bus drivers, these people know. They see these kids day in and day out. And then when they vanish like that and don't get on the bus and don't go to school and their days start missing, I would like to see their days of absence. I would like to see that. If half of what I'm being told is true, these kids should have been homeschooled. What little bit that they had made it to school. Now, I don't know. Like I said, it's not looking good. But the kids are struggling because of their autism. It's not their fault. They weren't getting the help they needed. They weren't getting to see the right doctors. They weren't getting the right diagnosis and help. And it's sad. Sebastian Rogers the same way. They were not getting the help they needed. And it's sad that here we are talking again. This time it's 2 children with autism. 2. It's a double dose, guys. 2 children don't walk off and vanish. One of them at least would have been found by now. At least one of them. And that's where law enforcement, I think, stands. And that's why they're saying what they're saying. But I think the Godiva dogs are going to hit. They're either going to hit in that driveway, that backyard, or that home. And if they don't hit any of those places, I believe the place where these dogs will hit will be the vehicles. Because if they did move these children off of that property, they moved them by vehicle, and the dogs will alert. Don't matter how much they put in their cleaners. It doesn't matter. Them dogs, I know a lot of people don't have faith in Godiva. Look at Matty Soto. They hit on Jen's car. I'm telling you, these dogs are smarter than people give them credit for. I mean, they're 60% smarter than we are, guys. And their sensors are like 480 times greater than us. So that's what I'm saying, is somewhere lies the answer. Somewhere lies the truth. Where is it? I don't know. We got to work together to find it, I guess. But let's keep spreading their faces. Let's keep spreading awareness. Let's keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Daniel's speaking, Mama's not. There's a reason for that. What that reason is, I don't know, but it's not looking good for the mother. I can say that. And y'all know my opinion. I felt if these two are charged, or if either one of them ends up being charged, it's going to be the mother. That's my thought. That's exactly my thought. Especially if they do have custody of the baby. Now, if CPS has taken the custody rights away from the mother and assigned them to either the grandmother or to someone else, that's telling me one thing right there. They got a lot on that mama. And I know that her actions are not looking good to law enforcement. His actions, he's 50-50. Because he seems to be standing in the rain, not caring if it's pouring on him. He's giving an interview. Not some of those tears, I know a couple of times it looked like crocodile tears, but that one time when he was asked a question, Jack, when he talks about Jack, it breaks him down. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that's going to come down to where Jack, something bad happened to Jack, and then they felt like Lilly would tell. I don't know. It's sad to think about, though. Or did they get into something? A lot of people speculating that they got into some kind of substances at that house. And that the parents found them like that. And I don't know. If it did happen, and they did get into something, and it did unalive these children, a substance unalive these children, and they were found on that floor in that home, those dogs will hit on it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know they brought in, I believe, two canines trained to cover narcotics. I believe that's what they're working on, or what's what they did. I don't know yet. I'm trying to get the information. But I'm going to keep digging, guys, on this case. And we can't forget about the other cases, though. But we're going to work on it. I'm getting better. My health is a lot better. I think I'm finally back to 90% good. I'm never going to say 100 because I don't ever feel like anybody ever feels 100% okay, right? And we'll discuss it one day later when I'm ready to talk about it. But I think a lot of y'all probably already know. It's not going to have been the first time. It happened to me when I was 46 years old. So, it's just sometimes things happen, and you just got to focus, get stronger, get better, take care of your health so we can help others. I do no good to others if I can't take care of myself first, right? I mean, my kids are always first, but my health I have to start taking a little more serious. Am I missing searching every day? You dang right I am. I'm about to go ape crazy right now. Like, I just am so ready to be searching, and I had so much planned this past week and booked already, and I just didn't get to do it. It really bothers me, but I'll be back. I'll be back to searching in the next couple of days, it looks like. So, and who knows, we might be in Nova Scotia next time you hear from us. I don't know yet. Like I said, my goal right now is to give it till the 14th. I was wrong last night when I talked about it, or yesterday. It's the 14th. I had in my head the 13th for some reason, but I know that hopefully something's going to come, and it might already be brewing right now this morning. I don't know. I'm fixing to start making a few phone calls, see if my buddy's still out there searching. Well, not my buddy, but an acquaintance. See if he's out there searching. Hopefully Mike's doing well. Hopefully they're getting some answers. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, pray to God, these children are located. We would nothing more than them to be found and be okay, and at least get the proper help they need, and whatever it may be. I know that a lot of people don't feel that way. I know especially law enforcement doesn't feel that way. So it kind of shoots our hope down a little bit. But y'all know me, my faith is strong. I don't give up. Just like I said with Caleb Collins, I knew that they would find that boy eventually. And they did. Just like I know they'll find Summer. They'll find Sebastian eventually. These cases will be solved eventually. They might go cold before they get solved, but they'll be solved. I hope, I pray. It's all we can do. So anyway, keep little Jack and Lily in your prayers. Little Jack and Lily Sullivan, 4 years old, 6 years old. Tragic story, mystery within itself. The sliding door, I call it. The answers lie within the sliding door. I don't know. To me, the answers lie within that mother and stepfather. And hopefully one of them will break and we will get the truth. Because if not, we might not ever get the truth. Unless they really got something. I don't know. Y'all know me. I'm doubtful now with the Sebastian Rogers case because I really thought it was going to be solved in November. And it wasn't. And so it did kind of take a little bit of a hit to me. But this one here, I feel they know more sooner. There's more red flags sooner. Things were alerted sooner. You know, true crime world is getting better. Better and better every day. And, you know, we're learning to spot things differently, right? Sebastian Rogers' case, Sebastian Rogers personally changed the way these channels now look at cases, right? Which I always push from the beginning. It's in the language. It's in the language. And we just have to dig it. And now just to see everybody from my little grain of sand on a dot on the bottom of the map, my little bitty channel, was able to push enough to where people are now digging like crazy. And that's so good and so amazing. That's what I wanted out of it. Right? Because there's bigger platforms that have way better connections than my little connections. And so they can get better information usually than me. And that's good. I don't care who gets the information. Just someone get it. I'm not one to say, oh, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care if I'm first to say it or last to say it. It's not about that. It's about the awareness and getting justice for these children that need justice. That's what it's about, guys. But anyway, we love y'all, guys. We're going to get out of here. Just keep them in your prayers. Keep all the missing, all the runaways in your prayers and thoughts, guys, today. Say a little extra prayer for Jack and Lily and, of course, Summer and Sebastian and all these other cases. There's a lot going on. So, prayers as these babies are located. Until then, guys, we'll see y'all soon. We'll see y'all later on today. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I hope everybody's safe and good. Remember, trigger warnings always in these cases. Allegedly, these are my opinions, my thoughts, my theories, my speculations, my free speech. I'm entitled to it. Take it as a grain of salt, guys. We know what we got to do around here. Trigger warnings, like I said, y'all's comments, of course, y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. We do our research together. We're our big-hearted little family. But let's get Jack and Lily Sullivan found. Come on, guys. It's up to us. Push. I'm begging all the big channels. Push. Even if you don't like me or like my channel, please push their faces. Push. The bigger the push, the better the outcome I pray for. All right, guys. We talk soon. We love y'all. Y'all be safe. Be good. All right. Bye.